Hey, this is Indigenous Patriot, and thanks for joining me. A Michigan sheriff says that we shouldn't be judging the men that are accused of plotting to kidnap the Michigan governor. We'll talk about that. Donald Trump tells Iran not to F with us, like it's the streets, I guess. Hey, don't F with us. Anyway, we'll discuss how COVID is affecting non-federally recognized tribes. Not too good. And we'll talk about Pompeo trying to take us back to 2016 here in 2020, because 2020 is not enough for us. We need to revisit the past, I suppose. Stay tuned. We're going to watch a sheriff kind of make a point that he could have done without. We'll discuss why I say that afterwards, but some background is this man and one of the accused in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer were together at a Trump rally earlier this year, and yeah, that shows a little bit of inappropriateness. The sheriff was one of the people protesting the mask order, so I feel like there's a little bit of bias here when he's speaking.
Remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor, and they want her arrested. So are they trying to arrest, or was it a kidnap attempt? Because you can still, in Michigan, if it's a felony, you can make a felony arrest. And I think it's MCL 764.4 or something like that, 0.5, somewhere around there. And it doesn't say if you're in an elected office that you're exempt from that arrest. So I have to look at it from that angle, and I'm hoping that's...
So we can skip that angle, because he said a key point: a felony arrest. What felony was broken? Which felony in the United States Penal Code was broken that an unregulated militia had the right to go and, plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan? I don't understand how this elected sheriff feels it appropriate to speak on this without having the proper information. I would have said, at this time, I cannot comment on this without further information. I feel like that is a very reasonable statement, instead of seeming like I am defending the situation. Today is not the day to be defending these things. Can we not see what's going on where people are having issues with militia? If I was involved in a militia, I would make sure that my appearance was up to par, my I's were dotted, and my T's were crossed. It's not the time to be stepping up to try to defend these kinds of situations. Why didn't these people reach out to law enforcement? Why didn't these people reach out to him? So Donald Trump was on our favorite show, the Rush Limbaugh show. Yes, we don't really need to use our imaginations too much to see how this turned out. But we'll watch anyway.
Right. And Iran knows that, and they've been put on notice. If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
This is in reference to Iran, and that is our leader, our president of the United States. Now, some people are going to go, that's my president. I prefer somebody that knows how to be a little more diplomatic when they're talking about life and death, when they're talking about nuclear countries, when they're talking about two world powers that are completely at odds. We are hammering their economy, and I'm not saying that we are wrong to do so. I'm also not saying that we are right to do so. I'm not in the position to make those decisions. But how we carry ourselves during all this is really important. And going on the Rush Limbaugh show and saying, if they're going to F with me, we're going to do things to you that's never been done. First of all, there's a couple people I know that if I say, hey, I'm going to do something to you that's never been done, they're going to be like, woo, yeah. I'm just kidding. Nobody likes me. Let's move on. We're going to do just a jump to the left and a little step to the right. We're going to put our hands up. I'm just kidding. We're going to watch a clip where Mike Pompeo is discussing Hillary Clinton's emails, because we didn't already get enough of that in 2016. We didn't get enough of that when they tried her for it and didn't convict her. I mean, what is it with elections and these people and this woman's emails? She's not even running for office. Get over it, Pompeo. You are a Pompeo pompous ass. Let's watch.
Of this investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails at the State Department.
So, Dana, you'll remember I was close to this even when I was a member of Congress, when I served on the Benghazi Committee now, what seems like a little bit time ago. We've got the emails. We're getting them out. We're going to get all this information out so the American people can see it. You'll remember there was classified information on a private server. It should have never been there. Hillary Clinton should never have done that. It was unacceptable behavior. It's not the kind of thing that leaders do. They don't put that kind of information out, and you can see whether it's Russia or China or Iran or the North Koreans who want to get their hands on this kind of information. Classified information needs to stay in the right places. Secretary Clinton, when she was here at the State Department, did not do that.
The president has the authority to declassify anything he wants. All authority is to him. Could he declassify it and order it released if he wanted to and if he ordered?
Absolutely. We're going to get there. We're going to get this information out so the American people can see it.
If he were to order that, would there be concerns about maybe health and safety of sources or methods that could possibly be in these emails if there's classified information?
So, Dana, I've been at this a long time with President Trump for 4 years now almost. I've never seen him do anything that would put any kind of asset, any kind of one of our officers in any harm's way. He wouldn't do that. We'll get the information out that needs to get out. We'll do it in a way that protects the intelligence sources that we need to protect.
And last question on that, will that happen before the election?
Doing it as fast as we can. I certainly think there'll be more to see before the election.
All right.
So this isn't political at all. This has nothing to do with playing politics. They're not trying to release these emails right before the election. Why would they do something like that? This is some chintzy stuff. Do I think that there's something in the emails of concern? Not particularly, considering the fact that they've already tried her. She sat there for hours. When are we going to see Donald Trump sit there for hours and testify? We just don't see it, okay? And what does this have to do with Joe Biden and his attempt to become president? Jack and squat. What it is a misdirection from the COVID issue. It's a misdirection from the whole bipartisan Senate report. It's trying to make something from nothing, okay, in my personal opinion. Am I going to read these emails? Yes, I'm going to read these emails. But it is a completely partisan attempt, and this guy is supposed to be the Secretary of State. He's supposed to be nonpartisan in his actions. He's supposed to be protecting our country, and he shouldn't be lapdogging. Now, something that really is important is to understand that Donald Trump has already declassified everything. He said, I'm going to declassify everything. He also railed at Barr and Pompeo for not pushing this whole Russian thing already. Like, he was on air saying that he's angry at Mike Pompeo. And what does Mike Pompeo do? He starts licking his hand, kissing his boot. Here we are. Before I go into the reason why I'm going to be talking about this, I want to give a little bit of history. And that's this. There are different categories of tribes, indigenous tribes in the United States as it pertains to recognition. You have your federally recognized tribes, which number close to 600 tribes. I think it's like 574 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, and the federally recognized tribes are the ones that are enrolled on the Dawes Act rolls, which is basically the people that ended up surviving the Trail of Tears when the government under Andrew Jackson rounded up indigenous people and pushed them out west and settled them onto reservations. The Trail of Tears ended up causing the deaths of thousands of indigenous people. So the people that are enrolled in the dolls rolls are federally recognized tribes, as well as a few tribes that have gained recognition through various means since then. You also have your state recognized tribes. Not every state has recognized tribes, and each state has different criteria in how they're going to recognize a tribe. A lot of times it's a continuous history of these people continuing their traditions and living as indigenous people for a long period of time, 100 years, whatever the state's rules may be. And then we also have tribes that have no recognition at all. That does not mean that they are not indigenous people. Sometimes it does mean that they are not indigenous people, but it is not a blanket statement to say that they are not indigenous people. That is incorrect. Some of them have their histories, and some of them have their traditions and things like that. It's just politics at work, because it's really hard to gain recognition. Gaining recognition makes you entitled to funds, whether it's federal funds or state-issued funds. A lot of times it has a poor perception too. Like, for instance, the state recognized tribes in New Jersey. A lot of them had to agree that they were not going to set up casinos. There was a really big case not too long ago about that, where the state of New Jersey tried to rescind recognition for these people that have had recognition for decades plus. So it's a politics thing. Why this is important is that these are communities that have remained together through their long memories, throughout their histories, and the ones that are non-recognized are suffering really bad with this COVID issue, because they aren't qualifying for any of the PPE, for any of the paycheck protections, for any of the health services to come out and assist them in making sure that people are, checked for COVID, isolated, fed, etc. It's a very trying time for these people, but they are indigenous people that have lived on their lands since time immemorial, unless you can prove otherwise, which I doubt. It's important not to forget these people. It's important to say, look, we see you. How can we help you? If you're living in a community where one of these tribes is trying to exist, think about assisting them. It goes a long way. We are brothers and sisters. We live here together. And some of us need help. If you need help, wouldn't you want somebody to reach out their hand to you and say, I'm here? Consider it. Look further into this. Say, hey, there's a tribe that's near me. This group is really struggling. What can I do to assist them? And that'll make you a better person. That'll give the gratitude from these people to you. If you made it this far, Wanishi, that's how we say thank you. If there are any concerns or comments you want to leave me, do so down below. I appreciate it. Let's just keep things clean and respectful, and I will do the same to you. I'm not really going to participate in negative comments. Have enough of them in our daily life. Let's share some love. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at WIKWEKO, Weekwako. I'm Indigenous Patriot on all of the rest of the social media, Facebook, Instagram, obviously, here on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, share. It'll help us build community. I'll see you again.